All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Strange Famous. Again, I'm your host, Caroline. It's 2024, and we're going to talk today with Eric Stevens from I9 Sports. I'm really excited to get into this, but first, a quick break and talk about our sponsors. We'll be right back.
My Salon Suite is a perfect place where beauty professionals can be their own boss. We are a community that supports growth and values independence and provides private, comfortable spaces. Visit mysalonsuite.com today. At Yellow Springs Dental in Frederick, Maryland, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Maples, and their team offer gentle, patient-centered care. Understanding that your oral health is as unique as you are, they focus on your dental goals and desires. Visit yellowspringsdental.com today. When you call Maryland Windows, Doors, and Roofs, Keith is there to answer. He and Time are also at all of their jobs. High quality and affordable, fair pricing. That's what you deserve and what you get. Call Maryland Windows, Doors, and Roofs today, 301-712-5228.
All right, we're back, and today, like I said, I'm your host, Caroline Hutchison, and this is Strange Famous, and we have Eric Stevens here from I9 Sports. I'm so excited to have you here today. Talk about what you're doing in the community. I have so many levels of interaction with this man. It's kind of weird because we don't really spend time together, right?
Yep.
But we have so many connections. You know what I mean? So thanks for coming in, first of all.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and first I wanted to say, thanks to your wife. I mean, she looks like a superhero. I kind of wish she could have been here too, so we could have all talked together. But
is the
Naisha,
superhero.
right?
Yeah.
She is a bomb. I mean, she's going around the event we just had. Was it Harlem Wizards?
Event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw her in action at that event, and she just handled it every time.
She missed half the event because she was so busy running, back and forth. Yeah.
Wild. So let's talk about that for a minute. What is the event that we're talking about, and what is I9 Sports?
Yeah. So I appreciate it. Yeah. So this was our third annual Harlem Wizards versus Team Frederick event.
Mm-hmm.
It's an annual fundraiser that we started a few years ago. We host it at FCC every year. And so the event came about because we started a nonprofit when we started our actual, when we purchased our franchise, which is I9 Sports, right? So I9 Sports is a franchise. It's nationally known.
How many franchises are there?
There are over 200 across the nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I tried finding you guys on social media and stuff, and it's a million I9 Sports come up. So I was like, okay, that's crazy. So but you guys have your own nonprofit? We
do, yeah.
Okay.
So it's connected. It's a nonprofit arm to the business, right? So there's actually 9 I9 Sports in Maryland alone, right?
Sheesh.
So we have Frederick and Carroll County. That's our territory, right?
Okay.
So when we started it, before we even purchased the franchise, we had the vision that we knew that we wanted to help kids who couldn't afford to play sports get involved, athletically, physically, and give them an outlet as well. We knew that there was a huge need there, and we had to do something.
Yeah, and not everybody can afford to do the sports program.
Absolutely. So even if it started out small, even if it was a few people here and there, we wanted to help kids and help families in that manner, along with the business.
Really
right.
Cool.
So we started them literally simultaneously, and immediately when we did that, we reached out to some other nonprofits who were already serving kids in the community at a good capacity, making a difference, like City Youth Matrix, the Boys and Girls Club, and those folks. They were super receptive, and they wanted to partner in any way, like so many nonprofits in Frederick do, which is cool. But anyhow, so
power in numbers. I mean, you can do so much more when you get a whole bunch of people together. Like that basketball event's a perfect example of that, right? Sheesh. So
it really took on a mind of its own. So it
was wild. We'll have to insert some footage from the event here.
Yeah,
so.
We've got a really cool recap, like a 3-minute YouTube. But it was we didn't want to ask the parents, and we didn't want to beg the coaches, to fundraise, right? We didn't want to have to go out there and cold call and fundraise, to help support these families who needed financial support for sports. So we decided to host one annual, really cool, fun event to raise a couple $1,000s and hopefully use all of that throughout the year to kind of give back to kids. But before we even started that event, we decided to donate 100% of our concession money to our nonprofit as well, which my mom, if you ever come to our events, my mom runs our concessions, right? So my mom's out there volunteering every Saturday. She runs a concession by herself,
Wow.
and we donate all the money to our nonprofit.
That's wild.
So that puts a couple kids every season in sports by itself.
Okay.
But so we wanted to do it on a bigger level. So we came up with the Harlem Wizards event because a friend of mine played for the Harlem Wizards. He still does.
That was going to be one of my questions. Like, how did you think of doing this? Because it's such a random thing, you know?
He played both of the first 2 years. His name's Roscoe Sarge. You probably met him at the event.
The first event, right?
He was the guy doing backflips, and he kind of salutes
Okay.
everybody in the beginning because he's a service member. And we always host our game on Veterans Day weekend.
Okay.
So we we started putting the event together, and we realized that it was going to be huge.
Right.
Like, we knew it was going to be big.
So many people, like thousands of people get involved.
Yeah. So we wanted to not only, we didn't want all of the proceeds going to I-9 Sports alone. We wanted to kind of see who else we could really help in the community. So we partnered with groups like the Boys and Girls Club and City Youth Matrix, and we said, if you guys are willing to volunteer and help us out a little bit on that aspect, we will take all of the rest of this event on, just my wife and I. Just give us a couple of volunteers the day of, and we will evenly split the proceeds with you, no matter what it ends up being. So year one, right out of the gate, and every year since, we've done just over $30,000.
I volunteered every year so far, and I have to say, like, I feel like I'm kind of the merchandise queen.
You are the queen of merchandise.
I feel like I really hold it down. Like, everybody comes to me with questions, but I feel like I've always been like good at customer service, and I worked in a help desk, IT help desk, so I'm good with computers. I'm good with technology, and it's all on the iPad and whatever. So for me, that's like second nature. Sales, what, I can sell anything, right? Like,
I figured
love
that
it.
the first time I asked you.
I like feel like
that.
it's like a challenge. Like, how fast can I check these people out? How many of these basketballs can I sell? And like, can I beat my numbers from last year? Like,
you were crushing it for sure.
It's so fun. Like, they have this little island that's like a mobile store, and I always get to be the like merchandise.
It's on wheels.
Girl.
You can just like roll it
around, and I'm all in the middle of everything.
They send Rudy and a couple others to keep refilling the basketballs for you.
It was
keep
wild.
Pumping. They couldn't pump them up fast enough, I don't think.
We broke the air pump. We blew up so many basketballs in like an hour. It was insane.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how many we sold. But it was super
crazy.
excited, and the kids loved it. Everybody was having a blast. It was such a fun event, and we had so much involvement from like all these different organizations were there. Like, you have so many sponsors and donors. That's great.
It was so cool. I think my favorite part about the event is building Team Frederick, right? So that's the cool thing. So if you're unfamiliar with what this game is like, it's very similar to a Harlem Globetrotters game, right? But the biggest difference is, instead of them playing against, I think they're called the Generals that the Harlem Globetrotters usually play against, we get to build the opposite team they play against. So we get to build Team Frederick, right? And typically, when other folks host the Harlem Wizards games, it's just a bunch of teachers from one particular school. But we set out and we try to partner with as many schools as possible. And every year the number grows.
It's so
we're
funny.
Up to like 13 principals now.
The
So we have
principals
13
playing
different
basketball,
principals,
and like all the kids in the stands are like laughing and like watching their principal try 15 times to make a basket, and it doesn't go in, and they'll just keep passing it to them until they finally make it, and everybody goes wild. It's so fun.
We had the mayor for the second year in a row, who can actually play a little bit. The mayor's got some skills. We had the chief of police every year so far, and we just had some great people, year after year, and people are really excited about it. So
totally
it's been very
fun.
cool.
Yeah. Probably one of the most fun things in Frederick, honestly, like that I've been a part of so far. So really grateful to be a part of it.
I appreciate
it's really
that.
fun volunteering. So if you don't volunteer and do stuff like that, I would encourage it. So, and then Angie, my daughter. So I have, Angie's 18. She has been working for you off and on here and there, and she loves it. It's so fun. Like, she comes out and teaches cheerleading. I think she's gotten involved in football a couple of times. Basketball. Like, she loves it. So, and
she loves basketball.
Yeah, she loves loves kids and she loves sports. So it was a really good match. So that was fun.
Yeah, she's been awesome. And, it's funny because we actually don't have a lot of kids that work with us. We're almost all adult staff.
Yeah.
But she fit right in. Sports and kids is definitely her thing.
Yeah. She loves it. Yeah, it was really good for her. And she just liked having something to do that was related to sports. You know what I mean? Like she loves basketball so much. So when she got to do some basketball stuff, that
versatility is clutch.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know about I-9 Sports is that we try to be the most convenient youth sports league out there, right?
Okay.
And that's a word that you'll very rarely hear when it comes to youth sports, because when you think of youth sports nowadays, you think, oh my gosh, so it's every day of the week.
Right.
On weekends, I'm driving to Ocean City or Pennsylvania or Ohio, and it's
nightmares.
Why?
Getting hotels.
There's so many youth sports that are kids and leagues that are right here in our town. That if at the early level, at the rec level, intermediate even, unless your kid is literally at the point that you're sure he's competing for a scholarship,
right,
then you should be local. You should be getting them in as many, involved as much as possible, doing something that they love doing and not readjusting your entire life for it. Right. So the convenience aspect is huge for us. So the way we do that is, number one, we have practice right before our games, right? So instead of practice every day of the week or practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays and then games on Saturdays, we have practice and then a game immediately after that. So it's 30-minute practice, 30-minute game right after for the little kids, or 45 and 45 for the older kids. And then
so the schedule Angie was doing is basically the same for everything?
Yeah, that's
I thought
all
it was
of it.
just the weekend thing she was involved in.
No,
it's all okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much all of it.
Cool.
So
nice.
we pretty much operate on Saturdays only, right?
Okay.
So we do have a couple of midweek leagues, but they're also just one day a week. So we have volleyball has been a huge thing for us lately.
Sounds fun.
We do that Tuesdays or Thursdays, but it's literally just one day a week. Same concept, practice and game right after. So the second way we do during the warm months, we pack several different sports into one location at the same time. So Ballenger Creek Middle School, for example, is our biggest location. So we have cheer, soccer, flag football, and t-ball and tennis all happening at the same location at the same time.
I've seen some of
so
it.
It's nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's so many people.
The parking lot is insane.
The kids look like they're having a blast. There's so much. I mean, you can just hear kids yelling and screaming, having a good time. It looks like a good time.
But you can imagine it's literally a game changer for a busy family. So imagine you have 3 kids who all want to play different sports.
Sure.
Maybe you're a single mom, maybe not. And if you're mom and dad doesn't have to go one way and mom a separate way, or now mom can be at all of her kids' events and not miss anything.
Sure.
Literally you can
stand in the middle and
yes, exactly. They're literally right next to each other,
Yeah.
So it's super convenient in that aspect. One day a week, spend a couple hours on a Saturday with us and get all your kids' sports in. So, yeah.
So fun. Well, so I have one more question for you. Why are there any adult leagues coming?
Oh, man.
Because that would be really fun if you started something on the weekend that was a similar concept, but have it adult recreation, kickball and some stuff like that.
I would love to. It's not in our franchise model, so we can't do it.
Okay.
But I will give a shout out to a good friend of mine who runs Frederick Social Sports. They run an awesome adult sports league. My wife and I play kickball.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I want to do something like that.
We love it. We have an all couples team. So it's all couples, and we all have little kids. So our kids are running crazy on the sideline, and we're having fun. So it's a good time for sure.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show again. Huge shout out to everybody that volunteers, obviously. But so, how much money did you raise again this year?
We raised $30,000 overall, which ended up being close to. It was just under $10,000 per nonprofit. We gave a little bit back to the schools as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good job, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was dope.
Thank you.
And where can people find out about I-9 Sports in this area?
Yeah, real simple. i9sports.com. So www.i9sports.com.
And just search your location on there.
Yep, they type their zip in there and it finds us. Yeah.
Dope. Well, thanks again, Eric.
I appreciate you.
Have a good evening, and everybody tune in next time for Strange Famous. See you later. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Strange Famous Frederick, hosted by me, Caroline Hutchison, produced by Medina Media Productions, audio by Frederick Recording Studio and Robin Smith Productions, video by Beaver Enterprise Group, Sponsored by Sweet Buds Dispensary, My Salon Suite, and Maryland Windows, Doors, and Roofs. Visit us online at strangefamousshow.com.